Good morning, class. Today we are going to be looking at the data we collected yesterday. Let's start out with a warm-up to review some key terms. Sarah, would you like to answer the first question?
The mean is the average of a set of numbers.
The median is the middle value of a set of ordered numbers.
The range is the difference between the largest and smallest number in a dataset. The interquartile range is the difference between the smallest and largest value of the middle 50% of the data. It ranges from Q1 to Q2.
Standard deviation is the measure of the amount of variation of a set of values.
Very good, class. Knowing these terms will help you complete today's activity. Everyone pair up and grab a laptop. Open Code app. Click New Document, and select the Import button to upload the data we gathered as a class. Now that you are in pairs, take turns exploring the data. Try selecting the Graph button. You can drag and drop any of the heading onto the X and Y axis to create graphs. Click on the ruler icon and look at all the movable options you have for your graph. While you take some time to explore, I will be passing out your assignment. Now that everyone has had time to play around with the options on Code app, let's take a look at your assignment. First, erase any previous graphs you have made and open up a new graph. You will need to create a new for each question 4 through 6. As you work on each question, I will be coming around to answer any questions. Hi Sarah. How are things going over here?
I am actually having trouble with Part C. How do I remove the outlier?
You can remove the outlier by clicking on it and selecting the eye next to the graph, and then selecting Hide Selected Cases. How did you know that there was an outlier?
There is a point at 60 centimeters that stands out from the rest of the data.
So what happened to the mean and median when you took the outlier out?
As you can see in my two graphs, the median and mean changed after removing the outlier. Both decreased without the outlier, which skewed the data.
What do you think accounted for this outlier?
Someone in the class probably entered their data incorrectly.
Good job, Sarah. Hi Emma. How is it going over here?
Good. Sam and I were just discussing how tall we think a new student would be by looking at our graphs.
What did you guys come up with?
We think they would be around 162 centimeters tall.
What data did you use to come up with that number?
Well, when you look at the mean and median, they are very close. The mean is 162.8 and the median is 162. This makes us believe that a new student would be somewhere around 162 centimeters as well.
So you use both mean and median to predict a new student's height? In this situation, which measure do you think would give you a better estimate?
I would say the median.
Can you explain your reasoning?
Well, when you look at the graph you can see an outlier around 123 centimeters. This outlier stretches the center of the data and changes the mean. Without the outlier, our median remained the same. This leads me to believe that the median would be a better predictor of height of a new student.
Good observations, Emma. I noticed that you mentioned the outlier can stretch the data and affect the mean. In statistics, we call this skewness. Keep this term in mind for our discussion at the end of class. Hi Zach. How are things going over here? Did you find anything interesting about the data?
I was just noticing that it seems the boys in this class get more sleep than the girls.
Good observation. What data can you provide to help support your conclusion?
First, I looked at the mean and noticed that on average, boys got around 7.6 hours of sleep and girls got 7.15. After finding the standard deviation, I noticed that the girls had a larger standard deviation than boys. They had 2.15 and boys have 1.84.
From what you know about standard deviation, what do those numbers mean in terms of the scenario?
The higher standard deviation in the girls' sleep hours means that there was a greater variance in their data. This means that girls had data that was more spread out than the boys.
Very good, Zach. Okay, class. Finish up the question you're on and begin putting your laptops away. I want to discuss some of the important things you found from the data.
I'll go first. One thing I noticed was the outlier and how it caused the mean and median to change when it was removed. I think this outlier was the product of a mistake made when someone input the data.
Did anyone else notice outlier in the other questions?
I also noticed an outlier when I was looking at question 5. This outlier was at 1